Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special broadcast today. Today we are going inside the mind of Miss Jennifer Rose. Jennifer Rose is the executive director of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, one of the strongest chambers in the Northern Virginia area. And I'm so proud to have Jennifer as a friend, as an associate, as a member of the roundtable. In fact, she in the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce has volunteered to become a sponsor of our December 11th business conference, which we're going to talk about True Voice. And for those of you all who are not familiar with True Voice is literally the definitive system to help entrepreneurs and business leaders understand how to project their best selves into everything that they need to do, how to communicate their desires and wishes in a way that others are going to see and accept and understand who they are and what they're all about. So, a part of the questions that we're going to ask, even inside the business mind, with Jennifer comes through the True Voice system. So, I'm sure you're going to have a delightful time. I always have a delightful time with Jennifer. So, hold on to your seats because we're going to have some fun. Are you ready to go? Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here's Miss Jennifer Rose. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. How are you?
I am so happy to be here, Marvin. You're a brave man going inside this mind.
Jennifer, it's been always lovely knowing you and being just a part of your success over the last few years has been a sort of, I see it as a tremendous gift for me to be able to see you, grow and become the leader that you are today. You're just an amazing, passionate leader for the chamber. And I don't know what they would do without you. I'm sort of glad we have you. So I'm going to put that out there right there. It's very, very important that people of the community know how to work with organizations. Even in the business world, we kind of think that business is business, but business is a part of the community. And people who like you who understand that and help entrepreneurs and other business leaders understand their connection to the community make all the difference. Because sometimes we can get caught. I know as a business owner, we can get caught up in the wrong ideas. Profitability is important, but it's not everything. And you got to make sure that you're supportive in the communities and being active in the communities that you exist in. So I thank you for being on that vanguard and protecting the business environment, so that we can do other things other than just whatever our business is at the time. But you're going to be a sponsor for the December 11th conference coming up, which is really exciting, really fantastic. I love this conference. Um, this is one of the quarterly conferences that I've attempted to do in the past, but I'm going to pull off actually in this year. Come in 2022. Is that the next year coming up?
It is.
This is going to be one of many quarterly conferences that we do. And so for all of our sponsors, they'll get to be sponsors throughout the whole year. So they'll be able to see and participate in all the conferences coming up. So I'm glad that you opted to do that. And we really appreciate it and everything that you're doing because of it. But today is about inside your mind. We're trying to figure out like what's going on in there in that little twisted, deviant, brain of yours. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Jennifer Rose. Tell me right up front, you know that that the business of the roundtable, which we're both a part of, is really all about teaching and learning how to better communicate, better encourage one another, and to better collaborate with one another. And all three of those things are super favorites, and everybody loves them. But if you had to choose which one of those key ideas is probably your favorite and why?
You know I love all three of them, but I'm gonna go with collaboration. We are a small chamber, and my whole career has been in the nonprofit sector, where the power of leverage is important, and collaboration is such a great way to leverage resources and to share knowledge, and skill sets and all that great stuff. I mean, because we know what we know and we know what we don't know, and then we don't know what we don't know. So when you can collaborate with others and bring in their knowledge and experience and wisdom, it just makes you a stronger entity, organization, person. So I'm going to have to go with collaboration.
So
Final answer.
this week at Coffee Tea, you and me, is funny. I'm talking about execution in high performance teams. How do you get it done? How do you create a team that's super highly performative? And I realized as a result of my research that we throw this word collaboration around a lot. We do. I mean, and people like we want people that can collaborate well together. But I think the environment has to be such that people feel comfortable collaborating. Like, you have to create that psychological safety where people feel like their ideas have a place to live, and nobody's gonna, say bad things about them or make them feel inferior or anything like that. And I love what you do with the chamber, because you just make it so that it feels like everybody has that spirit that they can make a contribution, and their contribution will matter.
Yep,
Versus,
everybody brings value.
exactly, exactly. Versus, well, we don't need to see that, or we don't want that, or all the rejection that we normally get everywhere in the world. you know, we should be able to feel safe with our chamber. We should be able to feel safe in our groups and our teams and everywhere we're meeting, so that the best can come out when
Mhm.
you are, when you feel safe. When you don't feel safe, who wants to play in that environment?
Not
That's
me. Community and family is what it's all about, and my
right.
chamber is always family.
I love that. I love that about. I knew you would say that, and I love that about working with you and just being a part of where you're going. It's just a great thing. Um, I know that you have been a member of the chambers, and you've been a part of the Rotary Club, and you've done so much in the community, in your previous experience. But what do you love most today about what you get to do right now?
Oh, come on, Marvin. I'm a helper. I love helping people. I love connecting people. I love seeing them succeed, grow, thrive. After the last year and a half, almost 2 years, survive. I am a helper and a connector, and that's what I love the most. It never feels like work, even when I get behind and making those email introductions or what have you. Um, I like to help people. I always have. It is ingrained in my DNA. It's who I am.
So I got a challenge for you. This is the challenge question. COVID-19.
Mm.
How have you dealt with having to be on all these video chats and video conferences and so on and so forth? And how are you dealing with the transition that seems to be really slow back to, I guess, business as usual? Do you see it coming back to business as usual, or we always now exist in this hybrid environment? What do you think?
Uh, Man, that's like the $1 million question. You know, I hate all the video stuff. I'm a hugger. I'm a people person. I need the energy from people live and in person. But I also recognize the value and efficiency of videos. I mean, like today, I'm in my office, you're in yours. As much as I'd love to see you and hug you, um, I think that we're going to be kind of in this hybrid space for a while. But I also think people are going to get tired of always being at home. And they're going to eventually be like, all right, I've had enough of this. Let's get back to normalcy. But it's
Right.
going to take a while, I think. But I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I remain hopeful that we'll figure out sort of kind of the happy medium, because I think I've got some benefits um, from being able to be virtual on most occasions, but it just is true, the loss of getting out and about and being able to experience just the outside, you
Oh,
know, more
well,
often, and being with other people that I haven't planned to be with,
mhm.
is something that is missing. And there's a social component that you can't really discount, because we can't get it no matter how much we Zoom and meet up and all the different things that we try to put around it. That's missing. What I feel sorry for is the kids who literally they don't know anything else. Like the young ones who just started school,
Yep.
they don't know.
I mean, it was already hard enough with,
Right.
as you know, I have a couple of teenage boys, and it was already difficult to pull them away from their phones, to look at people in the eye and talk to them and shake hands and know how to have conversations with people. And now it's going to be 10 times worse because the kids only know this.
I think the challenges of the future, though, are going to demand that we kind of, although our brains haven't caught up to this type of interaction, in terms of how we've evolved as human beings, I think the challenge is going to be for us to do everything we can, um, to to learn and to grow, even in the virtual space. Unfortunately, feels like. I don't think we have a choice because I know a lot of people are not going back to work. I just heard a term the other day. What was it? Blew me away. The Great Migration. No, it was about the people leaving their jobs and never
Great
coming back.
resignation.
Oh my God, the Great Resignation. What is that all
Yeah,
about?
it's true. It's true. My husband's one of those statistics because he retired this year and
Hmm.
it's not gone back yet. But I also read somewhere that us Gen Xers are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs.
That's true.
So many of us, we've left the workplace and we're doing our own thing now. And I think that's very cool and very exciting.
That's
Um,
very cool. And you're
but
right.
yeah, the Great Resignation.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. And I'm always kind of combing the business pages and perusing for the next new idea. And I think that we're poised. I think the chamber is poised. They got the great leadership in place, and you're. I don't think they could have found anyone else who in this area who are best with volunteers as you are. I mean, you just motivating somebody who to do what they need to do and not get paid to do it, but still enjoy it and have fun. Man,
Tough.
that's the true level of leadership that's called for today's leaders. And you got to jump on all the rest of us. I'm a little bit jealous, that you get to play in this area. I'm like, wow, she gets to do this and get wrangle all these volunteers together. Which brings me to my next question.
Okay.
I know that you chose to be in the world of professional associations from the world of traditional nonprofit. What made you choose this direction or this profession for your career? And basically, why were you doing? Why did you do this initially? And how is it going?
All right. Well, I mentioned earlier the nonprofit space is like in my DNA. I've had many family members that have run nonprofits in the social services industry and things like that. I've been a lifelong volunteer. But when I was at the University of Virginia, my fourth year, I did an internship with the United Way. And that kind of sealed the deal for me that, yep, this is what I want to do. It was challenging. It was frustrating. It was rewarding. And I just loved it. I fell in love with it. Every day was different. So that's kind of what set me on my path. And I kind of landed in a space of development and communications work, fundraising, in-kind fundraising. That's the non-monetary donations in kind, for those of you who didn't know. I had initially started being interested in volunteer management because that was what was most challenging of my internship, was trying to get my friends to volunteer to help execute events and things that we were doing for the United Way. But I kind of landed in the fundraising space, and I loved it. Very rewarding. Got to do event planning, got to manage volunteers, got to raise money, got to be told no an awful lot, develop some thick skin. And when the chamber opportunity came along, I have known our board chair for many years. We're both long-term members of the Fairfax Rotary Club, and I used to pick his brain a lot on things that I was trying as I was taking my previous employer's development program to the next level. And we got to talking about the Central Fairfax Chamber, and I knew that it had been experiencing some pretty significant challenges and had nearly gone the way of the dodo. I mean, it nearly died. And the more we talked, and I learned that they were ready to hire somebody again. And initially, he's asking me if I know anybody that might be good for a part-time position that would grow into full-time. And I'm racking my brain because I'm a helper. Who do I know that has left and is coming back? And then one day I was like, wait a second. I think I'd like this challenge. How cool would it be to take this chamber that has a 60-year history in the community, 64 years now going on, and breathe life back into it and bring it back even better than it was. And that's, I went home and told my husband, I said, I think I want this job. And he's like, well, duh. So 4 years ago, I put my notice in and said, I'm going to do this. And it was a leap of faith because I was going from a full-time job to this 15-hour-a-week, 6-month contract gig. And here I am 4 years later working a 40-hour, let me rephrase that, getting paid for a 40-hour work week. We all know I work many more hours than that. And I've just hired a marketing assistant. So now I have a staff person under me. She just started on Monday. I'm so excited. And that's how I got to where I am today.
That's super awesome. You know, you just reminded me like Jennifer Rose is in the resurrection business. She could take your organization and bring life back to it. That's great. I'm sure people out there listening want to know about that one. It's like, okay, so what's next, Jennifer? How do you see yourself growing in this position or in the next position? What's the future looking like for Madame Rose?
Well, there's still a ton of work to be done here at the Central Fairfax Chamber. And, as much as I hate stupid COVID, it is one word in my vocabulary. It actually did a lot to help me demonstrate the value of a Chamber of Commerce to a business owner.
Right.
Before COVID, they would just think of the chamber as, oh, yeah, that's that networking happy hour thing. I show up, I sip my wine, I exchange business cards. Maybe I follow up with the people I meet, maybe I don't. And that's what a chamber is.
Right.
That is like the smallest piece of what a chamber is. And, when COVID first hit, I wanted to stick my head in the sand and ride out, the 2 months it was going to last. And I quickly realized, nope, this is happening. And we need to step our game up because my members, these businesses, they need help, and we're in a position to help them. So my work is never going to be done here at this chamber. There's still many things that need to be done. I want it to be a 5-star accredited chamber of commerce, and it will be one day. Not soon enough in my mind, but I had 85 members when I started, and a lot of bad mojo to deal with. When people have bad experiences, they remember it forever.
Right.
When they have a good experience, they don't want to say anything about it. Come on, people.
They want to keep it to themselves, right?
Praise when praise is due. Leave those good Google reviews.
Yes.
But I did a lot of listening and talking to people and owning, like, yeah, the chamber, it sucked. I know why you left, or I know why you never joined. But guess what? We're turning things around. There's a new sheriff in town. And here I am today at 220-ish members. I've lost a few members here at the end of the year. Folks that are the Great Resignation, leaving where they are, doing something different. But I'm always working to improve that value of membership, that return on investment. What else can I do to help these business folks? Because y'all are busy running your business. You don't have time to research things, to find out what's going on with the city of Fairfax's stormwater utility that's being proposed. How's that going to impact my business?
Right.
I pay attention for you. I report back to you what you need to know. I try to save you time. I try to save you money. I try to give you what you need so you can just keep doing what you do best. And there's, like I said, still lots to be done to position this chamber to be the premier chamber in the region. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of chambers in Northern Virginia, a couple of dozen. We all play well together in the sandbox, and we're all a little different. We have our niche demographic or the things that we specialize in. But, there's a lot of choices for people, and I want to stand out as being like, oh, yeah, this is the one I've got to be a part of. I still have my part cut out. Getting that one staffer is a big step forward.
Let's talk about what you just said for a second. The differential advantage of if you had to say the differential advantage that you could shout to the world of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, what would you say it is? What do you all do better than most?
I kind of joke about it, but the more I say it, the more I believe it's true, is we tend to offer a boutique experience. I try to get to know each and every one of my members. What is it you need? What do you want? Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to know? And I keep that all filed away up here. I don't know how. It's starting to get really full. But I'm always keeping those members in mind. I'm responsive. I've heard people that have reached out to me to participate in things. They've reached out to many chambers, and they're like, Jennifer, you're the only one that responded. And I'm like, really? That's interesting. What can I do? How can I help you? Does it spread me really thin? Yes. Do I bite off more than I can chew? Yes. But it's important. It's important to strengthen that business community. I know you've heard me say it, and it really is cliche, but strong businesses do make strong communities. and strong communities make strong businesses. And that's my whole purpose and point, is keep that business community strong so that, the city of Fairfax and its suburbs can be, some of the best places to live, to work, to raise families, to establish legacies. And I want to be a small part of that to help make that happen.
Well, you're a very large part of that for a lot of people, and it looks like you're going to be continuing to be so in the near future. So that's just wonderful. I'm just making sure we're not a flight risk. I'm like checking you out like a.
No. I did
Am
mention
I
my
going to
husband.
promote Jennifer so well that she decides that she's going to have to go, be at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce? Is this what's
No,
going on?
no. Although I'll tell you, my husband, he did retire this year, and he's like itching to get out of town. And I'm like, no, I am not done yet. We got kids to get through high school, so you definitely have me a few more years.
So five star. Let's talk about that 5 star you just said. What do we have to do to get you there?
Oh, I got a lot of internal structural things I've got to make sure are all covered. Ensuring that we're fully transparent with financials, that all of our policies and procedures are in place, and that we just offer the best experience for our members that we can. So I'm chipping away at it slowly but
I think
surely.
well, you already offer the best experience. That
I hope
that
so.
that is a fact because you listen, and that's the key to that experience, right? Is the reason why True Voice, the conference I'm putting together, is the way it is because people have to get their voice heard. They have to be listened to, but they don't know how to. Obviously, sometimes they don't. They're just yelling, but they don't know that what that's not necessarily the way to be heard. you know, you have to figure out the right way to be heard by the right people at the right time for the right reasons, and also people who are willing to listen have to be a part of your solution. Because if you're just trying to be heard and nobody's willing to listen, you got a problem. So you also have to be able to identify those that are willing to listen, and people that are part of your chamber have already figured that out. They've already figured that out. Now they're on like, oh, now it's just like, how much of Jennifer's attention can I take? Is the next question.
Yes. And every time I get a new member, the very last sentence of their welcome email is something to the effect of, put me to work for you. I'm on your team, but please remember that I'm also on a couple of hundred other people's teams as well.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, you'll always have, something amazing to do when you serve a higher purpose. Literally, other than just your selfish needs. I mean, literally everything works much better, and you're teaching that to the rest of us entrepreneurs who really need to understand that. Thank you so very much for what you do. I couldn't ask for a better friend, associate, or chamber to belong to, and it is due and because of you. And so I am so glad that we are partners with the roundtable and the chamber. So I'm so glad that you're there and supporting us in the ways that you can. And sometimes, I know we don't ask you for anything near what we can ask you for,
Mm-hmm.
but it's nice to know that Jennifer's got our back. Central Fairfax Chamber has our back when we need it, and that's important to so many solopreneurs that I know and work with. It's like, oh wow, like where do we go to for support? Really, who actually cares? And I can tell them without question, without hesitation or reservation, go call the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, become a member, get engaged. You'll find not just a chamber, you'll find a family.
Oh, thank you, Marvin. Such kind words. But I just am honored to be part of your world. And I have been remiss in attending so many of the roundtables because I've just been so slammed. But I do love coming to the roundtable. It just reinvigorates my spirit. And I need to try to prioritize it a little more and stop letting people schedule things on Tuesdays at noon with me.
I tell you what, I remember when we first started working together. You said once a month on Tuesday, I gotta go. I gotta do this one thing, and I said okay. I think we can work with that. And I think we still can work with that once a month. I love you, and I never hold you to that standard because I know
early in my chamber career, when we were meeting in person on Thursdays, I was almost always out of hours by Thursday at noon, and I was still there with you guys because I'm like, hey, I gotta eat lunch.
Right. And hopefully it was a part of your professional development as well.
Of course it was. I always learn something when I come to the round table, or I'm reminded of what I'm doing wrong and need to improve upon, or I'm reminded, yep, that habit, you got to break it. Marvin's just reminded you again, Jennifer, break that habit.
So you'll be leading us through a wonderful session today that if we do it right, it's going to be recorded. So people who will even see this, if you want to go back and watch Jennifer hang out with us at the round table and show us some beautiful things about strategic planning, how to get ourselves organized for the next year, she's going to be on it. And I can't think of a better person to help work with that. So if you get a chance to watch it, you probably won't get a chance to attend. But if you get a chance to watch it later on Facebook, definitely do that. And I'll try to put some links into that show in this show. So when this show is broadcast, after they finish watching this show, they can go right and go see you doing the Facebook thing.
I don't know, Marvin. I mean, we have to see how it goes first.
Yeah, okay, we'll let you know, right? Well, you don't have a choice because it's going to be broadcasted live.
I know. Business plans, such fun and so important. It'll be
All
a
right.
good conversation.
Thanks so very much, Jennifer. I really love having you, and I'm so glad that you took a minute out of your busy day to do this. I really appreciate you in so many ways, and I like to give you a big old bear hug. But one of these days we're going to get back to that. All right, good seeing you, and I'm gonna put you backstage now for a minute as I close out the show. But again, always wonderful, always beautiful. By the way, do you want anybody? You want to put any of anything you want people to know in the chat box? I didn't tell you about that earlier. So definitely do that if when you're backstage, and I will post it so that everybody can see it. So if you put something in you can put it in the private chat section. If you want to put a link or phone numbers or anything you want to say or share with the listening audience, they'll be able to pull it off the chat. Fair enough?
All right.
All righty. Have a good one. Bye bye. Ladies and gentlemen, you just experienced the lovely Jennifer Rose. She's the queen of networking and everything that is great and good here in the Central Fairfax Chamber. And so we're so glad to have her part of what we do. We're so glad to have her part of the show today. If you want to see more of Jennifer, you might want to check her out at the Central Fairfax Chamber. And she'll be sharing some information about how to get in contact with her and all that good stuff in a second. I'm also going to post for you all who are listening to this, and when you go back to it and look at the chat, I'll be posting links to the conference that's coming up on December 11th with the Central Fairfax is one of the sponsors of that conference. This conference is literally for the benefit of another organization who's also sponsoring called the Hopewell House. Hopewell House works on mental and emotional needs for everybody in the Northern Virginia area, and they have a residence program as well as a non-residence program, and it's just going to be exciting to work with them. Those of you all who are part of this, will understand that a major part of the benefits that we receive from this event are going to go to the Hopewell House, and more about the Hopewell House later on. If you haven't watched the episode with them, please do so. That's on the recording. You can go back and check that out. And I am going to post some good stuff that Jennifer wanted to share with us right here in the comment section, which I can't do right now. I have to wait until it's live. So anyhow, we will talk to you guys later. Signing out. Welcome to Inside the Business Mind. I hope you had a great time. I know I did, and we'll chat again soon. Bye now.